Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Waffle, looking into game week 30. But firstly, we're going to have a quick review of game week 29, the most exciting double of the season, which I think for many went fairly well. And here's how I got on. So I got 113 points with a -8, 105 overall, which I was very pleased with, to be honest, because I didn't have my bench boost, which a lot of people played. Um, Everson was a bit of a flop. Bring him in, scores an own goal. Fantastic. Um, Trippier smashed it. Dunn got me a cleaner. Zuma came in fantastically well. Clean sheet in one game, goal in the next. I saw the Newcastle score 4-1 at the time, and I thought, oh no, Zuma's bottled it. But he was the one that scored the goal. So I got lucky with that. And then Bowen got the assist. So my three transfers this week were Everson, Zuma, and Bowen. So they came out of 23 points for the -8. So actually did pay off. Very fortunately, with West Ham not doing that well, picked up 20 points between those boys, and then Everson helped to fund it. So yeah, grateful for that. Saka was frustrating. Illness before the game, 1 point off the bench. Is what it is. Maddison flopped in two great fixtures. Rashford, I did well as expected, but I was pleased. I backed my guns. Captain Matoma, who outscored Rashford, proved to be a lovely little captain choice. Shout out to my man Murray watching this, who triple captain Matoma this week. 42 points. Absolute fantastic result to go and back a triple captain Matoma. Brave, but I respect the bravery and it paid off. So, yeah, both of us laughing this week with a captain choice. And then up front, Watkins, mate, what a hero. I mean, let's look at these points. He's done since what this game at 21, 8, 11, 7, 8, 6, blank 8, 5, 8, 9. Incredible returns. Almost unsellable at the moment. And then Harry Kane got a bit lucky with got the penalty goal. I was going to play Botman all week ahead of him, which in the end I should have done in hindsight, but I was grateful that Botman didn't make a killing and it was just a 2 point difference. Had I played my bench boost and saved it, I would have got 25 points. But when I played my bench boost a few weeks back, I managed to come away with 27. So again, I validated my bench boost play. Um, I got very lucky with it, to be honest, the week I played it. And Bomo and Henry happened to haul against Southampton, which, yeah, I was a massive bit of luck, to be honest. But anyways, we'll take it. So yeah, good week. Minor red arrow, 627k. So I'm still in the hunt for a reasonable finish this year. I don't know what realistically I can hope for. I'd love to get top 100k again, but it's going to be tough from here. I'm going to have to smash every week. But anyways, that's how I got on. Real quick review. I'm going to go over all the players I recommended, just a whistle stop tour, and I'm going to count to see how many returned as I recommended. So Dunk, clean sheet, that counts. March assist. Matoma smashed it. McAllister penalty goal. 4 out of 4. Fernandez failed. 4 out of 5. Rashford, 5 out of 6. Shaw failed. 5 out of 7. Harshly though, the injury. De Gea, 5 out of 8. Sorry, 6 out of 8 because he got a clean sheet. Madison, no. 6 out of 9. Barnes, yes. 6 out of 10. No, 7 out of 10. I'm losing track. Castagna and Pereira both returned. So that's 8 out of 12. Chilwell, clean sheet. James, clean sheet. 10 out of 14. I wish I hadn't done this. I'm just going to count how many went well. No, no, yes. That's 11 successes. Bowen, yes. 12. This guy scored, didn't he? The two defenders. So that's 13 successes. Obviously, Trippier, 14 successes. Isak off the bench, 15. Shaw, assist, yes. Watkins, yes. Salah against Man City scored, obviously, but then flopped in the next one. Well, didn't even play, did he? Saka flopped, unfortunately, but then Solanke banged, to be fair, in his double. So I haven't, let's forget how many I got exactly, but I've got most of them, haven't I? Most of the players I recommended did actually return. So if that's any credibility for my predictions going forward, hopefully that puts some faith into you. Moving on, huge press conference news today. Erling Haaland, most people have planned to get back in for this game week because they're away to Southampton, great fixture, then home to Leicester, great fixture. Two awful defences, two awful teams this season. Pep said this: he trained the last 2 days, really good. He will be ready. Now, as much as Pep can be a melt and say things and not follow through, that sounds very, very positive. And you think there's a decent, I'd say fairly high chance he starts based on that. Very least, you're expecting at least half an hour off the bench, which I think all of that taken into account is worth transferring him in this week. We know he can do damage however minutes he gets. And I think it's not worth the risk not owning him in the likelihood that he starts. So that's if you're still planning to if you're planning to bring in Haaland, I'd say that is enough to definitely do it. And I'd almost say that's enough to captain him. And I'll come onto my team later, but if it gives you a clue, I think that news gives you a good amount of confidence towards captaining Haaland if you wanted to go for it. So that's Haaland. If you're going to bring him in and you plan to do it, do it. If you're going to be taking hits to bring him in, it might be more justifiable to wait a week. But you still might want to just get the job done because you're going to want him until the end of the season, aren't you? Either way. So good news with Haaland. I put this table up. Ben Crellin again. If follow him on Twitter if you want more of an update as to the fixtures coming up. He's chucked in some Champions League games so you can see sort of busy schedules and stuff. Obviously, in Man City to take into account, there is the midweek fixtures against Bayern Munich. So is that going to affect Haaland's minutes? Maybe a bit. But then because he hasn't played for a few weeks, I think Pep is going to want him to play a bit against Southampton to then give him some sort of match fitness against Bayern. So I'm confident he's going to get a decent amount of minutes at the weekend, even with the Bayern Munich game. If anything, I think it might help him at least sort of get some minutes. So we'll see. But yeah, bear in mind these sort of fixture schedules, the double game weeks coming up, Newcastle, Brighton, United, they all have a good amount of doubles coming up. So you want those guys in your team. Bearing in mind there's a blank in 32 that affects Brighton, United, Chelsea, and City. So if you don't have a free hit like me, you need to be careful with who you own and who you don't. But Newcastle, as a big doubling team, aren't going to be blanking that week. So they're a team you can't really go wrong with. Quickly on Newcastle while I'm on it, let me pull up a bit of team news about them. Isak and Wilson. So who do you play? Who do you bring in? They're both sort of good strikers doing well. One was started in, I think, was Wilson started in both? Or he was, I think one was started in one was started in the other in the double. But Howe said they can play together as well as sort of having, playing on their own. So I think you can be fairly confident they're going to constantly get minutes. So I wouldn't worry too much if you have Isak and he got benched and you're like, oh, what do I do with him? Both good options, I think. Both going to get points for Newcastle. Not too much of a worry. But yeah, back to the schedule. Do bear this in mind going forward with the doubles and things coming up. And if you have, I think if you have a free hit, you don't need to worry about 32, obviously. If you don't have a free hit like me, you need to be careful of the players you bring in. You need to be very careful how many United, Chelsea, Brighton, and City players you own. So think about that. Quickly with Haaland to finish off on him, his price also might go up tonight, judging by the predictor. So yeah, if you're going to make the move, you may as well just get it done tonight. Save yourself 0.1 million. Couple more things to mention. We've done Newcastle team news. Luke Shaw, a lot of people have. He's been confirmed as out for tomorrow. We don't know when he's going to be back. It sounded like it might have been a hamstring injury, so there's a chance he's out for a while, but nothing's been confirmed. So I'd suggest keep him on your bench for now. If you don't need to make the transfer, because he's going to be very useful for the future double game weeks if you can afford to get through game week 32 with him sort of on the bench, or obviously if you've got a free hit as well. If you don't have a free hit and you have loads of United and players that you're going to have to try and get rid of for 32, this could be an opportunity to just get rid of him this week and then bring him back perhaps later. But yeah, Shaw's not going to be playing tomorrow / at the weekend. And then here is a bus team, not a bus team, whatever it is, a fancy football scout predicted team, as in the best predicted number of points. If you could just put together a free hit team for 1 week, this is what they've recommended. So De Gea, Trippier, Chilwell, Moreno. I quite like Villa have a good fixture this week. If we have a quick look, they are playing home to Forest. So very nice fixture. Forest have been bad away. Attackingly, defensively, Moreno has been actually a really cheeky player for Villa. My only concern with him is Luca Dean is always sort of there floating around to potentially take minutes off him and starts off him. But he has been great if you wanted to take a differential punt. Mings is nailed if you don't have him already and wanted to bring in a defender. He could be one worth a look at. Then they've got these guys in midfield. I mean, Rashford, March, Martinelli don't need much for mention. Barnes, I quite like as a punt. Again, if you wanted to just have a random differential this week, Barnes is at home to Bournemouth, which we all know is a good fixture, and he plays in game week 32 if you don't have your free hit. So he could be a punt if you wanted to go for a differential. And then I think it goes up saying Kane, Haaland, Watkins up front. You know, just a very solid front three. I think most of you watching might have that front three already anyway. Um, but yeah, there's some players you might want to think about if you just wanted to bring someone in for this week. This is who the scouts are recommending you go for. Um, and then finally into my team, this is how my team's looking this week. So I've got Edison in goal, happy with that against Southampton. Double Newcastle, don't mind it too much. We know on their day they can be very good defensively, so I think they have a good chance for clean sheet. Although away to Brentford isn't easy. Henry, then got to play home to Newcastle. So basically, my dream situation there is a 0-0 draw, which is probably quite hopeful. But realistically, it'd be nice if, say, one of the teams kept a clean sheet and then I'll get something out of it. And then midfield, Madison v Bournemouth. He went down sort of looking like he was injured in the last game, but apparently it was just cramp, so he should be fine. And Brendan Rodgers said that he's looking fine. So yeah, don't think you need to worry about him. Saka away at Liverpool, he's back from illness, so he'll be fine. And we know how leaky Liverpool's defence has been after they got smacked by City and stuff, and all season really. So I think you don't need to worry about benching Saka or an Arsenal player. Away to Liverpool on paper looks tough, sort of away to Liverpool. Traditionally, you think hard fixture, but actually, I think you can go quite hopeful into that game with attackers from Arsenal. Maybe not so much defenders, because I think Liverpool obviously have a goal in them, but attackers for Arsenal, I think you want to be starting. I'm happy to go Matoma away to Newcastle, away to Tottenham. Obviously, Brighton, my team, have been doing well all season. Matoma's been our talisman. I think you can be fairly confident that we're going to have a good go at them, and I'd expect us to at least score once in that game. So you'd like to think Matoma might be involved, or if you have McAllister, March, I think they're all worth a punt this week if you've got them. You might want to bench one of them if you're struggling to know who to bench and maybe pick which one you think is the most likely to return to start. But yeah, I think you can be happy at least starting one of your Brighton attackers this week. Maybe not defender, hence why I've got Dunk rooted firmly third bench, because we have been leaky a little bit with the way we play. And I'd expect the likes of Kane to have a go at us. And then I've got Rashford. I think, like everyone, home to Everton, good fixture. Like I mentioned, Kane home to us. I think he's got a good chance of maybe getting a return, but I'm still hoping we come out and win the game as a Brighton fan. Watkins home to Forest. I think if you don't have him already, with the form he's in, you need to look at it. And then Haaland away to Southampton. Like I said with the news, apparently my captain's armband is on him, and I think it's going to stay that way. My gut tells me he's going to start. And I am too scared to not captain starting Haaland against Southampton. Otherwise, I would have captained Rashford, who, yeah, home to Everton, good fixture. He scored, didn't he, in the week? So he's still in form. I think he's a good shout if you wanted a slight differential slash someone that's nailed for 90 minutes. There's obviously an extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet if they get that. So as I'm saying these things, I'm thinking, oh, maybe Rashford is the captain choice, but if someone's going to make a killing this week, it's Haaland. And my gut tells me I want to go Haaland with that Pep news. So I'm going to back Haaland. But yeah, I don't think there's any shame in going Rashford. If you go Rashford, I think that's probably the safer choice in some ways. But you've got to be prepared to be burnt by Haaland if Haaland goes mental, if that makes sense. And then Madison, if you wanted a really outside captain punt, a Madison or a Barnes at home to Bournemouth, you might want to go for. But with the way Leicester are playing, I personally wouldn't go near it. And the injury proneness of the likes of Madison. And then finally, my bench. I'd be quite happy to play Bowen this week if one of the players drops out injured or something. But West Ham losing 5-1 to Newcastle. You know, David Moyes is not doing great, is he? I think Fulham have been a good side this season. I think there's enough justification from all the players I've got here that Bowen gets benched. And then Zuma, again, I expect Fulham to score. And like I said, I expect Spurs to score against us. And then Everson, home to Bournemouth had a great fixture, but Leicester have been so, I'd almost use a swear word in terms of rubbish um, in defence that, yeah, I'm realistically never going to want to start Everson unless I have to, like I did in the double, and probably in the blank. Outside of that, yeah, Leicester defenders are just hard avoids, aren't they? So that's my team. I'm hopeful that I might come out of the green arrow this week. There's no sort of massive differentials I think I've got that are going to stand out over other people. That's my only concern. But my team looks solid enough. So yeah, we'll wait and see how they return and what rank I end up with. So I'll probably leave it there. I don't know how long I've been waffling for, but I think it's enough to justify ending the video. So yeah, hope you have a good game week. Again, enjoy fantasy football. Don't get too stressed if it goes badly. Again, hypocrite over here because I do get stressed often when it goes badly. But as long as you picked players and made decisions that you're happy with, you can't really argue with whatever happens. Just yeah, go over the players you want to go for and enjoy the returns you do get. And I'll look forward to catching you guys on the next one. Bye for now.